Super clear on what scalping actually is. Then we'll look at the surprisingly simple tools you need for this. After that comes the fun part. We'll unpack the game of probabilities that really makes this whole thing tick. We'll then zero in on the main event, the 25% high accuracy scalp. And finally, we'll learn how to spot when a tiny little scalp might just be turning into a much bigger trade.
All right, first things first. What exactly is scalping? It's time to step into the world of micro trading. You could call it the fastest game on the field.
The way Oliver Velez puts it is perfect. Think of day trading as micro-level, while scalping is its even smaller, even faster little brother. It's a very specific style of trading where the goal is not to hit home runs. Nope, the goal is to make a high number of trades, consistently grabbing small, quick profits from those little price wiggles that happen all day long.
To really see where it fits, imagine a timeline of trading styles. Way over on one end, you have your long-term investing, right? Stuff you hold for years. Then you move into core trading, then swing trading over a few days or weeks. Then you zoom into day trading, which happens within a single day. And if you zoom in one more time to the absolute shortest, fastest time frame, that's where you find scalping. It is the most micro of them all. Now, for a strategy that moves this fast, you might be thinking you need some crazy, complicated setup with a dozen screens and flashy software, right? Actually, Velez's approach is beautiful in its simplicity. Let's break down the essential toolkit he uses. Believe it or not, it's just 3 things. That's it. First, you're on a 2-minute chart, so you can see the action up close and personal. Second, you add a 20-period simple moving average. That's for tracking the short-term vibe. And third, you put on a 200-period simple moving average to keep you grounded in the bigger picture, the long-term trend. And that's all. Seriously, no fancy, confusing indicators needed. So why those 2 moving averages? Velez has a great way of explaining it, calling it a buddy system. You never want to look at just one in isolation. The 20-period, the short one, that's your buddy telling you what's happening right now. But the 200-period, the long one, that's your other buddy standing on a hilltop, telling you what the landscape looks like for miles around. Together, you get a way more reliable picture. Okay, so we have our tools ready. Now we get to the real heart of the strategy. And I want to be clear, this isn't about predicting the future with some kind of crystal ball. It's about understanding probabilities and only taking the shot when the odds are stacked way, way in your favor. So let's ask the key question here. Imagine a stock just takes a nosedive, a really sharp, fast drop. Your instinct is to try and buy that dip for a quick bounce. But the real question is, how far can you realistically expect it to bounce back? The answer, it turns out, is all about the stats.
Now this slide right here is the secret sauce. This lays out the probabilities of a bounce, or what traders call a retracement. Velez's data shows that if a stock drops, the chance of it bouncing all the way back up, a 100% recovery, is pretty slim. It only happens about 1 time out of 10. A 50% recovery? Better. That happens about 6 out of 10 times. But now look at that first bar. The chance of the price bouncing back just a quarter of the way, just 25%, that happens an incredible 9 out of 10 times. Those are the odds a pro wants to play with.
And that brings us to the bread and butter, the core moneymaker of this entire strategy, the 25% high accuracy scalp. This is the 90% probability play. This is where a professional scalper lives.
I just want to repeat that so it really sinks in. 9 out of 10. By just going for that small initial pop after a drop, you are playing a game you are statistically favored to win 90% of the time. That is how you build real consistency. It's not about getting lucky on one big trade. It's about being right over and over on small ones. So this all comes down to a specific mindset. You have to be comfortable intentionally going against that powerful recent move. You're buying when everyone else is panicking and selling. But, and this is key, you're only doing it for that quick 25% pop. You get in, you snatch your small profit, and you get out. It's a trade-off. You are sacrificing the chance for a massive gain in exchange for the high probability of a small one.
But what if that little bounce shows some real muscle? What if it keeps going? This is where a smart trader knows how to tell the difference between a simple scalp and a real developing trade. And thankfully, there's a simple rule for it, and it all revolves around that critical 50% line in the sand. The key here is to just watch how strong that bounce is. The size of it is giving you a major clue about who's really in control of the market, the buyers or the sellers. And that 50% retracement level we saw earlier, that's the dividing line. If the price crosses it, the whole game can change.
And this chart lays out the two possible scenarios perfectly. In the scalp scenario, the bounce is weak. It fizzles out before it gets to that 50% level. That's a huge sign that the sellers are still in charge, and the price is very likely going to head down to a new low. Your job? Take your 25% pop and get out of the way. But in the trade scenario, the bounce is strong. It blows right past that 50% mark. Now everything's different. The buyers are showing real strength, and the expectation is that the next dip will be a higher low. That could be your entry for a much bigger trade, not just a quick scalp.
So in the end, it all comes down to a choice. But now it's a choice you can make based on probabilities, not just guesswork. That 50% line is your signal from the market. It tells you if you should be playing for that quick, high-accuracy pop, or if the market might be setting up for a longer, more powerful trend. The question this strategy helps you answer is, which game are you actually playing right now?